We are here again as a reminder, this from last week, the California Career Zone Exploration, that form that's due tonight by 8 p.m. When I just checked like 30 minutes ago, only 34 people had turned it in from 3 classes. So a lot of you sound like you need to do that. We're here, we're going to do a discussion today, kind of go over a couple of things from chapter 2, then we're going to do the math on page 72. Oh. And then this is your homework, your vocab worksheet. It is 46 problems this week. Again, you just have to match the vocab, true and false, and then multiple choice. What we do today, this do the math that we do in class, as well as this vocab worksheet, those are both due tomorrow, Wednesday by midnight. The reason they are due on Wednesday this week is because your test is on Friday. So you turn them in Wednesday by midnight. Thursday, I will post the solutions so you can check your answer to the vocab worksheet, and then you'll have your test on Friday. Wednesday, we'll do a Kahoot. We'll start a new assignment that you have to do on Wednesday because we have to discuss it in breakout rooms on Thursday. Part of it says discuss with your class. That's due on Friday, as well as your chapter 2 test is Friday. And your chapter 2 test, that will be your attendance for Friday. It'll be 25 multiple choice questions. All right. So with that, we are going to I'm going to type a few things in the chat, a few questions, and I'll say them out loud too, but yeah, the vocab it's the same kind of worksheet from last chapter, but it should help for your test. Several similar questions. That's why I want to make sure you guys have the answer key before your test. Okay. What is the difference between gross pay and net pay? If you know, if you don't know, that's fine. You can say it out loud. You can type it in the chat, whatever works. So what's the difference between gross pay and net pay? I've gotten quite a few answers and most of them are right on it. Gross pay is before taxes and deductions. Net pay is how much money you actually get to take home after they take out your taxes and deductions. So next question, I gotta change this so it's to everybody. What is the difference between in-cash payments and in-kind payments? Oops. Sorry, I accidentally did that to the waiting room, not to you guys, so you can read it. So what's the difference between in-cash payments and in-kind payments? Give examples. If you know an example of one of them or both, maybe you know what one of them is and not the other, that's fine. Okay, yeah, so quite a few answers. Again, most of them are pretty accurate. In cash or Yeah, in cash is essentially cash, check, or a debit card that you get to spend on whatever you need. Whereas in-kind payments are made on your behalf. So it can be SNAP, which is basically food stamps that you can use just to buy food. It can be where housing subsidies, where they like Section 8 housing, where they pay directly for you. You don't get that money. Medicare, so the hospital care, things like that, where payments are made on your behalf. And then the in cash payments are, again, a check or debit card. Basically, you spend them on what you want. All right, let's see a couple more. What is the difference between workers' compensation and disability insurance? So what's the difference between workers' compensation and disability insurance? If you know, maybe you know what one is and not the other. This was on your homework last week. I have not finished grading those. I've done about half of them. And I was just kind of really mind blown by some of the answers. So I don't know if people just weren't paying attention or if they were just trying to type stuff to see if I was paying attention to what you type. But the difference between workers' compensation and disability insurance, or maybe you know what one is and not the other. Okay, so yes, the biggest difference is workers' comp is when you get hurt on the job. So workers' comp, that's going to pay for all of your medical bills associated with the injury, as well as they're going to pay you your lost wages. Disability insurance, you're going to be paid because you can't work, but you're not going to be paid full wages. It's, again, typically 50 to 70% of your income. And it's if you're unable to work because you got hurt. Again, maybe it's a car accident, maybe you broke your arm snowboarding, just some kind of injury. It could be short term, it could turn into something long term. And last one before we move on to the math. What's the difference between progressive and regressive taxes, and give examples? Okay. So sorry, some of these are long answers. I'm trying to make sure I read through all of them. Yeah, so progressive taxes are said, some people say they hurt the rich more than the poor. Progressive means the more you make, the more you pay. Regressive is the opposite, where in the sense that they're said to hurt the poor more because everybody pays the same. So an example is sales tax. That is regressive because everybody that goes to Raley's, everybody that shops on Amazon, everybody that goes to Target, Walmart, wherever you're going, everybody's paying the same sales tax here. Where income tax would be an example of a progressive tax because the more you earn, the more you pay. All right. With that, we are going to move on and to our math problems. So we're going to do the math here on page 72, numbers 1 and 2. And I have the book here and I'll do the work over here for you guys. Okay, so number 1, gross pay is calculated by multiplying regular hours times regular pay and adding any overtime hours multiplied by overtime pay. The overtime pay rate is 1.5 times the regular rate of pay. Net pay is determined by subtracting deductions from gross pay. So part A, Max worked 48 hours last week. His regular hourly rate is $8. What is his gross pay? So just a couple of things. So 48 hours, without telling you, they imply that you know that's 40 regular hours and 8 overtime hours. So again, 40 is going to be the standard. Anything over 40 is going to be considered overtime. So the regular pay here for Max is his 40 hours times his rate of $8 per hour. All right, 40 times 8. So Max's regular pay is $320. Before we can get his overtime pay, we have to get the overtime rate. Remember, you make more for overtime. Because it tells us here the overtime rate is 1.5 times the regular rate. So overtime rate 1.5 times the regular rate of $8. So Max makes $12 per hour for overtime. So his overtime pay then is his 8 hours at $12 an hour. So he makes $96 in overtime. So his gross pay then is the regular pay or straight time pay, we called that. $320 plus the overtime pay of $96. So his gross pay then is $416 for last week. Questions on A? All right, part B starts off the same. Then we have more to it. So Jackson worked 44 hours last week. His hourly rate is $8.60. He has the following deductions taken from his gross earnings: federal income tax withheld at a rate of 10%, Social Security tax withheld at a rate of 6.2%, Medicare tax withheld at a rate of 1.4%, 0.45% and health insurance premiums of $12.80. We want to know his net pay. So we have to first get his gross pay. Then we can do all the deductions. You have to get the gross pay first because when it says 10%, it's 10% of the gross pay. So get the gross pay, then the total deductions, and then we can get our net pay. So same idea here, 44 hours tells us 40 regular hours and 4 overtime hours. I'm just going to put OT for overtime. So the regular pay then is 40 hours times his rate, hourly rate is $8.60. So $344. For his overtime pay, we still have to get his overtime rate, right? 4 hours, but we don't know what the rate is. It's not $8.60. It's 1.5 times that. So the overtime rate is 1.5 times $8.60. So notice it says 12.9, but remember we have to make that 90. So $12.90 is his overtime rate. So 4 times $12.90 is $51.60. That is Jackson's overtime pay. The gross pay is $344 plus $51.60 is $395.60. Remember, this problem wanted his net pay, not his gross pay. So we do all that. I'm just going to kind of separate it a little bit. It's still the same problem, but now we're going to get the deductions. So he's got 4 different deductions. Federal income tax, Social Security tax, Medicare tax, and health insurance. And then we're going to add, once we get all of those, we're going to add them all to get our total deductions. So he's got 4 deductions. We need to figure out what each one is so we can get our total deductions. So federal income tax, it tells us, is at a rate of 10%. Again, that's 10% of the gross pay. So for the federal income tax, we do $395.60 times 0.10, 10%, 0.10. Social Security tax withheld at a rate of 6.2%. So same thing, we take our gross pay, $395.60, but now we multiply by 0.062. 6.2%, move the decimal 2 places. Medicare tax, also at a rate of 1.45%. So $395.60, take your gross pay, you multiply it by 0.0145, and his health insurance premium is $12.80. That does not change. He can make $200 in a week or $600 in a week. It doesn't matter. That's his health insurance premium for that week. All right, so let's calculate our federal income tax, $395.60 times 0.10. So that's $39.56. Social Security tax, $395.60 times 0.062 is $24.53. Notice after the 2 is a 7, so I have to round up. Medicare, $395.60 times 0.0145 is $5.74. Health insurance doesn't change. So for our total deductions, we just add these four. $39.56 plus $24.53 plus $5.74 plus $12.80. Total deductions are $82.63. So lastly, then for this problem, we need to get our net pay. For net pay, it's our gross pay, $395.60, minus our deductions, $82.63. So $312.97.
No more. Okay.
Any questions on 1B or A? All right. 2 is a little bit shorter. So most states have state sales tax, which is added to many purchases you make, like California. In the following examples, compute the amount of sales tax and the total purchase price. So they want both sales tax and the purchase price. So Mary bought a new dress for $80 and the state sales tax is 8.5%. All right, so sales tax, $80 times 0.085. Let me move that up a little bit. So the sales tax here is $6.80.
Thanks. We're gonna go in the front yard, grab the shoes.
So the total purchase price, which is usually what we mostly care about, is the price of the dress of $80 plus the price of the sales tax of $6.80. You got all wet?
Yeah, because me and Daddy were playing water gun.
Oh, so $86.80 is how much Mary's paying for this dress. But part B, Joe bought a pack of batteries for $12 and state sales tax is 7%. So again, for the sales tax, the price of the item, $12 for the batteries, times 0.07. So Joe is paying 84 cents in sales tax.
Because me and Daddy were playing water gun. I think you're all wet.
Hey, we'll go grab some socks. Yeah,
No, I don't want to take my phone.
we'll put some shoes on. Your feet are all wet.
So the total purchase price here then is the $12 for the batteries plus the 84 cents in sales tax, so $12.84. Any questions?
What's so funny?
Okay. So I'll leave that up in case you need to copy it down. Reminder, your California Career Zone assignment, that is due by 8 p.m. tonight. This that you just finished, hopefully, or you're finishing now, with your vocab, that's due tomorrow by midnight. So you, whatever time tomorrow, but you should be able to get that done tonight. If you stay on right now and just, you would get it done before our class time ended. And then I will see you back here same time tomorrow. If you have questions, I will stick around. Otherwise, you are free to go.